Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of IPPFA TV on the Social Security Fairness Act. IPPFA TV is an outreach program from the Illinois Public Pension Fund Association. We're an association that supports the individual police and fire pension funds in Illinois and hopefully can add some value on the matter of public pensions throughout the state and throughout the country. On behalf of our president, Jim McNamee, and the board of directors, welcome to IPPFA TV. My name is Dan Ryan. I am a part-time staff member here at IPPFA TV. I'm retired out of careers in municipal finance and in union benefits. I'm also a long-term police pension fund trustee. I spent some time over the years studying Social Security and the impact that a public pension has on it. That's all changed now with the Social Security Fairness Act, so we'll be providing some important information on that. What does all this mean to our public and police and fire and other pensioners? It means quite a bit, especially if you have a pension from work outside of Social Security. So if you are in Social Security at the firehouse or police station or classroom, nothing certainly has changed for you. And if you are not in Social Security when you work in the public sector, quite a bit has changed. So no matter where you are in the country, if you fall into that situation, you're a police or firefighter in Illinois or Boston or Denver, or a teacher in Illinois or Texas or Georgia, or a public employee in Colorado or Ohio or Nevada, this information will be applicable to you. Social Security is a complicated program, so allow me just a moment of disclaimer. There's about 3,000 benefit and eligibility rules, plus administrative law decisions, plus court decisions. Nobody here at IPPFA is an expert in all of Social Security. So this information is for educational purposes only. Please do your own research before you make any important decisions related to your own Social Security. Why are these matters even on the table? It dates back to deals cut in the 1950s between the federal government and the state's governments as to which public employees would be in or out of Social Security. And if an employee group had a pension at the time that was equal to or better than Social Security, that group was permitted to be excluded from Social Security. So across the country, it's a different picture. Some states, almost every public employee is out of Social Security. In some states, it's the teachers, police, and fire who do not participate in Social Security. And then conversely, in many states, all public employees or almost all public employees are in Social Security. In Illinois, who is out of Social Security? A City of Chicago employees, Cook County employees, public school teachers, public university and college employees, and then most police and fire who are in the so-called downstate system, which is really downstate and suburban police and fire systems. Who is in Social Security in Illinois? The non-police and fire employees of cities and counties outside of Chicago and Cook County. And then police and fire who are in small towns or whose towns were small back in the 1950s. They went into Social Security before a police or fire pension system was developed. So in Illinois, it's quite varied as to who is in and who is out. Before we get started in some basics on Social Security system, let's take a quick look at this Social Security Fairness Act. It was House Bill 82. It was signed into law on January 5th, 2025, and it's retroactive to January of 2024. It repeals something called the Windfall Elimination Provision, which is a provision that impacted benefits that a public employee might receive from his or her own work record. It repeals the government pension offset, which repeals a law that impacted benefits you might get from your spouse's benefit. These are major changes, and they affect public employees who have pensions from work outside of Social Security. Let's go over some Social Security basics. Social Security is a 1935 program. It provides retirement, disability, and survivor benefits. It's funded by contributions from employee wages, a match from the employer, and some taxes on Social Security benefits that retirees receive. Current employees pay 6.2% of wages, up to a wage maximum in 2025 of roughly $176,000. All public employees are in Medicare if they were hired after March of 1986. The long-term projections for Social Security show a need for improvement, either in revenue, a reduction in benefits, or some combination of the two. How do you earn Social Security benefits? You attain Social Security benefits when you have so-called 40 credits in Social Security covered employment. A credit is earned in 2025 if you make roughly $1,800, and you can earn up to 4 credits a year. That $1,800 is an index number. It was lower in the past, and it'll be higher in the future. Because you can earn 4 credits a year, this is sometimes referred to as 40 quarters. If you have 40 quarters of coverage in Social Security, you're entitled to a benefit. That's a perfectly good way to explain it, but technically it's a credit. Here we are in Elgin, Illinois today. If an Elgin high school teacher during the summer works outside of Social Security and makes over $7,300, he or she can have all 4 credits in the middle of the summer. It doesn't have to be 4 calendar quarters, but 40 quarters is a perfectly good phrase to use. Technically, it's 40 credits. You'll know you have 40 credits when you receive a statement from Social Security telling you do so. Unfortunately, those are not sent out now until age 60. Or you can go online to Social Security, ssa.gov, and check your record and see if you have 40 credits. What benefits are earned under Social Security? There's basically 4 types of benefits. You can earn retirement benefits from your own work record. You can earn spousal benefits from a spouse's record while that spouse is still alive. There are survivor benefits from a spouse's record after the spouse dies. And there are disability benefits if a person cannot work due to illness or injury. It's important to note that you can only receive one type of benefit in total at one time. So if you are receiving your own benefit and then you move to a survivor benefit upon the death of a spouse, you give up your own benefit. Public employee pension systems do not work this way. 2 Illinois teachers that are married to each other in retirement, when one dies, the other is entitled to their own benefit and a survivor benefit off of their spouse's teaching record. So we've learned a bit about how Social Security benefits are paid. Let's go now to some slides on how it works when you receive a Social Security benefit off of your own record. Remember when we talked about a public pension system? Those are based on your final salary times a replacement rate based on how long you've worked. Well, Social Security does something very similar, but they get to it in a different way. Your final wages in the Social Security system are really based on your entire working life, your highest 35 years. Right? Fortunately, that's indexed forward to age 60 based on inflation. So if you only earn a little bit of money 35 years ago and you're ready for retirement, don't worry about that. That's trended forward based on inflation. Then those average wages that are calculated monthly are replaced based on a formula using varying replacement rates. The 2025 formula, this is for people who turned age 62 in 2025. For the first roughly $1,200, your wages are replaced at 90%. The next roughly $6,000, it's replaced at 32%, and the highest amount of wages up to the taxable maximum is replaced at 15%. As you earn more, as you can see, the wage replacement rate is going down. Let's take a look at an example, some examples. I've got 3 retirees on the board right now. The first one had monthly wages of only $800 over his or her working life. They get that full amount at 90%, a benefit of $720. The next retiree at $1,600, they get most at 90, part at 32%, for a benefit of roughly $1,200, 76% replaced. That highest wage earner gets some at 90, most at 32, and even some at 15% for a benefit of roughly $3,200. That's a pretty nice benefit. It's much bigger than the other benefits. His employer and he paid quite a bit of taxes in there, but the replacement rate drops. The replacement rate drops to only 38%. So Social Security, it's important to understand this for a few reasons. The most important being is we're all citizens. Social Security is a system that has a certain amount of social welfare built right into the formula. The more you make, the more you get, but it's not as high a replacement rate, excuse me, as individuals who have a lower salary than you. Here's the good news. The windfall elimination provision that previously impacted that formula for public employees who receive a pension from outside of Social Security is now been repealed. You are entitled to the calculation of your Social Security benefits from your earnings record using the same formula as the private sector workforce. That was the formula shown on the prior slides. When the windfall elimination was in effect, what did it do? That first percentage factor was replaced not at 90%, but at 40%. All the other percentage factors and the wage thresholds all remain the same. The purpose of this was to level out those percentages among workers using their total wages. Unfortunately, it was proven to be a fairly clumsy way to do it, and the Social Security Fairness Act not only corrects that, but it eliminates the concept completely. After repeal, it reverts to 90% for all workers. So how much will you receive? Some things to remember. You're not in Social Security when you're working for the police department, fire department, in the classroom. This time out of Social Security reduces the amount you will receive compared to your relatives and neighbors who work in Social Security full time. Good news, you're no longer subjected to the two provisions which impacted your benefits, effectively reducing them from the standard formula and loss. How much will you receive? Everybody's different, so it's hard to give an example, but we made one up anyway. We made up a firefighter or police officer who was out of Social Security. I gave them average civilian earnings of $5,000 from age 19 to 21, $30,000 till age 25, and then nothing between 25 and 55 because they're in the firehouse or the police station. Then $40,000 a year till age 65. When you average that all together and put it into formulas, it comes up to $917 in Social Security benefits per month. Earn more than those numbers that were given, the benefit will be higher. Earn less, and the benefits will be lower. Do want to point out that that estimate would have been $407 under the windfall elimination provision, now repealed, so we can see the impact of that. All of these estimates are based on 2024 dollars. What's the best approach to determining how much you'll get? Go to ssa.gov and register an account. From there, you can see your Social Security earnings and use those tools there to estimate your future benefits. At the day we're recording this in early February, they are still trying to direct public employees towards the WEP calculator. Do not go over to the WEP calculator, all right? This is no longer in effect. Please ignore that. So that's how benefits work on your own record, and how the windfall elimination provision repeal impacts you positively. Now let's look at spousal benefits. Under Social Security, an individual can receive a benefit off of their own work record or 1/2 of their spouse's benefit if that will result in a higher payment. Let's take a look at some examples with some help from our friends in the world of TV sitcoms. Al's Social Security benefit is $2,000. Peggy's benefit off of her own work record is $800. Peggy can receive a monthly check of $1,000. Technically her own record of $800 and a $200 spousal benefit, coming up to a benefit of $1,000. The couple will receive in total $3,000. Peggy's additional amount does not come out of her husband's benefit. It's just an additional amount available under that Social Security rule where an individual can receive their own benefit over 1/2 of a spouse benefit, whichever is higher. Ward's Social Security benefit is $1,500. June's benefit from her own work record is $0. She did not attain 40 credits. She was a quintessential 50s and 60s housewife, home taking care of her 2 sons on the TV show Leave It to Beaver. But June is entitled to 1/2 of a award's benefit of $750. The couple will receive in total $2,250. Now here's the good news. The government pension offset, which previously impacted the benefit that a city of Chicago or a downstate retiree or a teacher could receive from a spouse's benefit, has been repealed. You are now entitled to a spousal benefit if that benefit is more than 1/2 of a benefit payable from your own earnings record. And the impact of this will vary from individual to individual. So that's how spousal benefits work, and it shows the impact of the repeal of the government pension offset. Previously, when the GPO was in effect, its impact was severe on public employees. It essentially eliminated the spousal benefit that public employees could receive from their spouse's record. With the repeal, what will this mean to a typical retiree? As I mentioned on the slide, this will vary greatly. If you are a public employee and have a spouse who was out of work for years being a homemaker, and overall had a modest wage record, most likely 1/2 of her benefit will not be more than yours, especially with the windfall elimination provision repealed. So the impact in such a household would be $0. The government pension offset being rescinded would have no impact on that home. At the other extreme, if somebody's spouse is a high wage earner, a banker, a tradesman, an accountant, a physician, and they have a very high Social Security benefit, 1/2 of that benefit may be well more than your own Social Security benefit. Congratulations, in that case the impact would be quite positive for you. Between those two extremes, it will vary. And the important thing to remember is that there are no longer rules that apply to you that can take a spousal benefit away from you. Let's move on to survivor benefits and also the impact of the GPO repeal. We'll put up some summary slides to assist us. A surviving spouse can collect up to 100% of the late spouse's Social Security benefit. But remember, a surviving spouse gives up his or her own benefit when a survivor benefit is received. About a little less than 4 million widows and widowers are receiving survivor benefits in August of 2024, so it's a pretty big community. Here's the good news. That same provision, the government pension offset that reduced or eliminated a living spouse benefit, also eliminated or reduced a benefit that you were eligible for as a surviving spouse, and this has been repealed. Upon repeal of the government pension offset, there is no longer any barrier to a city of Chicago or a downstate retiree or an Illinois teacher or a Denver firefighter receiving a survivor benefit. But remember, you give up your own Social Security retirement or disability payment if you qualify for a spouse's benefit. Right. Just a few words about divorce. Both a spousal benefit and a survivor benefit are available based on the earnings of an ex-spouse, as long as the marriage lasted 10 years. This is a special circumstance which you should investigate and review if it might affect you. Back to our disclaimer about not being benefit experts in Social Security, we certainly don't understand all of the nuances of the divorce situation, so if it applies to you, it should be checked out. But the Social Security application process should bring this opportunity and the calculation of the benefits to the forefront at the time of retirement. So this is how Social Security works. And we've given an overview of the basics of benefits and how they are impacted by these two provisions. Let's talk for a few minutes about the implementation of the Social Security Fairness Act, and we'll bring up some slides to help in that regard. The law repealing the WEP and the GPO was passed in 2025 and is retroactive to January of 2024. So retirees, current retirees can look forward to some benefit changes and a retroactive check. This tasking is assigned to the Social Security Administration. They're a good organization. They're a well-functioning government agency. They are underfunded and understaffed. This is going to take time. They do have a website on the subject. It appears on this slide twice and on a later slide. But if you just put Social Security Fairness Act in most internet search engines, it's going to take you right to the Social Security bullet point updated website on the Social Security Fairness Act. IPPFA will be sending out bulletins to its membership as implementation moves along. And a good source for information continuing is retired teacher organization websites, two that we've been following. Illinois retired teachers and Texas retired teachers did a very good job of keeping their membership up to date during the legislative process on the Social Security Fairness Act, and they'll do a good job bringing you up to speed on things related to the implementation of it. A couple of opinions from me on the next slide. This is going to take a while. I've heard a year. I'm thinking it's going to be more like 2 years. If you have not yet applied for Social Security benefits, you should have no issues at the time you go in to apply. The formula should be all set and ready to properly process your benefit under the terms of the Act. If question 14A of the application is still there, the question asks, do you have a pension from work outside of Social Security? Certainly answer that question truthfully, say yes, but it should have no impact in the calculation of your benefits. For those of you who are on Social Security likely has all the information they need to update your benefit and make a retroactive payment. That's what they are saying on their website. You should not need to contact them unless your address has changed or something along those lines. If there's anyone out there who did not apply for Social Security benefits because they didn't think they were entitled, and that can happen if somebody had less than 40 credits, all right, and didn't think they were going to get a spousal benefit or a survivor benefit because of the government pension offset, that law no longer applies. Social Security is suggesting that you go in online or in and apply for your benefit if you did not apply for your benefit previously because you felt you would not receive anything. Overall, some decent retroactive checks will be coming. If it does take 2 years and it is retroactive a year, it could be as many as 3 years of benefits payable to you retroactively. As far as implementation is concerned, just let me, a final thought. One of the questions we're hearing often from retirees, how much money am I going to get? What's my benefit going to be? Very hard to say what it is because it'll be a complicated calculation by Social Security, and anyone you ask about your estimated benefit is not going to know your marital status or what your husband or wife made under Social Security. So it's very hard to come up with an estimate. At the Social Security Fairness Act signing ceremony, the President did say that the average change when the windfall elimination provision was gone would be an increase of $350 a month. So it's from the President. If the average person on Social Security right now is going to receive $350 a month in additional benefits, that's something that can be looked forward to by the average recipient. If you had a more modest footprint in Social Security wages, it will be lower. If you earn more, it will be higher. At this point, we're going to move on to our final piece. And it's the issue of when you claim Social Security benefits. There's a fancy phrase for that. It's called a claiming strategy. If you put Social Security claiming strategy in an internet search engine, you'll get about 5,000 hits of articles and references and information on it. And it's worth doing some review. We'll have an overview here. We'll bring up some slides to show you an overview on claiming issues. Social Security being claimed at different ages, from age 62 to age 70. The longer you wait, the higher your benefit will be. For married couples, benefit can be claimed at different times. A wife could claim her benefit on her own record at an earlier age, or husband might delay to a later age. And in some circumstances, a benefit can be started on one person's record and then converted to a spousal benefit later on if a spouse retires. You may hear about some sophisticated, complicated strategies where people were claiming benefits and then suspending them and switching back and forth between retirement benefits and spousal benefits. Though that opportunity was closed in 2016, if you were not 62 by April 1st of 2016, it is something that is no longer available to you. Claiming strategy is important. It's now a little bit more important because of the repeal of the government pension offset. Previously, a lot of public employees didn't have the option for a spousal benefit. Now they do. Regardless, benefits earned on an employee's records will remain low compared to people in the private sector because of your many years of outside of Social Security. You may want to consider using an expert service to assist you in your claiming decision. I'll talk about some options on that in a second, but I am not a claiming expert. IPPFA are not claiming experts, other than making our own personal decisions. We don't claim to be. There's two good sources for expert assistance that have been tested by me, not endorsed by IPPFA, but I'll just pass on those references to you. There's a place called MaximizeMySocialSecurity.com. It's a website of a Boston University professor and an author on benefit maximization. It's been recommended by Terry Savage, one of his co-authors, who's a nationally syndicated columnist. SocialSecurityAdvisors.com, advisors with an O, SocialSecurityAdvisors.com. Very complete reports are available, plus an option for an additional charge to speak to an expert. Both services are reasonably priced. And also your own financial advisor may have sophisticated software that can assist you in making some estimates and perhaps picking the proper claiming strategy that's best for you and best for your household. So even though we're not claiming experts, I'm going to share some basic information from Social Security that will help you get started, most of it involving the issue of Social Security and what age to pick up your benefit, to select your benefit. We'll pull up some slides with some basic information. First is the concept of the full retirement age. The formulas I showed before, the examples I showed before, were all based on the benefit that is paid at the so-called full retirement age. If you were born through 1954, your full retirement age is 66. 1960 and later, it is 67. And between those years, it is a blend of 66 and 67. For example, born in 1957, it's 66 years and 6 months. If you decide to claim early, before your full retirement age, your benefit will be reduced. We'll get to that in a second. And you also pick up a wage limitation. If you're collecting early Social Security benefits, you can only earn in wages, meaning from an employer or self-employment, a certain amount of money before it affects your Social Security benefit. That limitation in 2025 is $23,400. It's an index number. It was lower in the past. It'll be higher in the future. Right? If you go past that number, your Social Security benefit in the next year is reduced. So here's a chart showing what your reduction amounts are if you claim before your full retirement age. I'm using 67 as a full retirement age. There's the listings. It's not a uniform amount, but it's close to it. The most impacting is at age 62. If you collect your Social Security benefits at age 62, there's a 30% reduction. That's a permanent reduction. You'll receive cost of living adjustments in the future based on that amount, but your net number goes down. If your benefit could be $1,000, a 30% reduction takes you down to $700. Go all the way to age 66, it's a smaller reduction, 6.7%. Those are the years in between, and remember, this is a monthly amount, so it's prorated each month. You can delay. You can delay beyond the full retirement age, and if you do so, your benefit increases monthly by an annual uniform amount of 8% a year. So again, using age 67, you get the calculated benefit. Each year you delay up till age 70, it goes up by 8% a year, plus each year's cost of living adjustment. As high as age 70 would be 24% higher. In my personal case, I was born before age 1954, so my full retirement age was 66, 8% a year. Deferring to age 70 got me a 32% increased amount, and above age 70, there's no further increase. So what's the best age? There's no best age. The formulas are neutral. They're based on system-wide life expectancy. So if Mandy draws at 62, Mike at 66, and Maddie at 70, they all made a good decision if it fit their needs. You might want to consider delaying. Formulas are based on system-wide life expectancies, but people with educations at high school and above, middle-class incomes, and health insurance will usually live longer than the general population who doesn't have those circumstances. Who does that describe? In this case, educations at high school and above, middle-class income, and health insurance. Most public employees fall into that category. If you're going to live longer than the general population, it makes sense to defer, get the higher benefit, you're going to collect it for many years. We know that police and fire occupations do not usually have long longevity associated with them, but compared to the general population, across the general population, actuaries will tell you these days that you will fall into the category of groups that live longer than the entire population nationwide. The formulas are gender neutral, so women generally live longer than men. If you're a woman, you might want to consider delaying your Social Security to get a higher benefit collected over the years. Consideration for not delaying: if you're single, you want to build up some savings for an estate or a charity, or you just want to have a good time, you can draw it at an earlier age and get those benefits. So what's the best age? Again, there's none. One approach: if you need it, take it. If you don't need it, delay Social Security in order to increase your benefit and possibly a spouse's survivor benefit later in life. Questionable approaches, and this is opinion, in my opinion. Some people like to calculate a break-even age. They say, I'll draw early, I'll put the money in my brokerage account and earn 7% earnings, and I'll build up a whole bunch of money in it, and I'll break even at age 84, and nobody in my family's lived that long, so I'm taking it now. You want to do that, fine. You don't know how long you're going to live. You don't know what returns on investments are going to be. That's a lot of variables. Also, being afraid Social Security is going to run out of money. I hear that a lot. You know, I'm going to take it now because the system's going to go bust. The system's not going to go bust. I think we can depend on having Social Security around for a long, long time. So let's wrap up. Social Security is one of the three legs of retirement income: pension, Social Security, and personal savings. For those of you who are in Social Security during your public careers, it's a very strong leg. For those of you who are not in Social Security, you're not going to receive as high a Social Security benefit because you're spending maybe 30 years outside of the system, but you are entitled to a benefit from your own work record, and you're entitled to a benefit now off of a spouse's record if that will benefit you. The provisions in the past that affected your benefit, the windfall elimination provision, the government pension offset, those have been repealed. Claiming strategies are important. A little more important now because your benefit's going to be higher and you're now eligible for a spousal benefit. Put some time and effort into that. We'll end with a slide with some resources. The Social Security website that I mentioned before is available to you at IPPFA.org. We have information bulletins on subjects like this. We have two books, the Chicago Police and Fire Retirement Guide and the IPPFA Retirement Guide for the Downstate Suburban Group. Those have been rewritten with a fully new chapter on the Social Security under the Social Security Fairness Act. plus chapters on fire and police pension, plus chapters on public employee deferred compensation. Those are one-stop guides to your retirement income if you're in those occupations. It's available on Amazon or for bulk purchase through our office. If you go on Amazon, make sure you get the updated for 2025 at the top of the cover of the book to tell you that you've got the book that covers the new Social Security Fairness Act. In closing, I'd like to thank you for your attention. Thank you for visiting IPPFA TV today. And most importantly from all of us, thank you for your personal and professional commitment to public service. Thank you.